Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.
Hello and welcome to Northeast Tonight, the show that decodes the region. Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma will present the Assam budget for the year 2020-2021 in the State Assembly tomorrow, that is Friday. Taking into account the budget that Himanta Biswa Sharma presented last year, a lot of expectations has been generated about a people-friendly budget tomorrow. Apart from allocations in the infrastructure sector, like the rupees 2200 crore for a new 6-lane bridge over the Brahmaputra in Guwahati, the budget last year had also some unheard of schemes like 1 tola of gold for brides of families with an annual income below rupees 5 lakh and so on. And again, if there were specific allocations for renovation of Vaisnavite religious places like the Botodroba Than and restoration of tombs of Ahom kings, there were provisions to rehabilitate boatmen who had lost their livelihood because of construction of the Bogeybill and other big bridges across Assam. This I am talking about the budget last year. From such schemes, one wonders whether the Sonowal government in Assam could come up with this year's budget. What will contain in tomorrow's budget? That is the big question. Before we go ahead with the discussion, let us listen into what Assam Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said after presenting the economic survey of the state in the State Assembly today.
আজি জি আমাৰ ইকনমিক সার্ভে রিপোর্ট আমি দিলু তাত যদি দেখা পায় যে অসমৰ জিএসডিপি গ্রস স্টেট ডোমেস্টিক প্রোডাক্ট এই বছর আমি কারেন্ট প্রাইজত 13.37% ইনক্রিজ হয়েছে যোৱা বছৰ তুলনাত অর্থাৎ আমাৰ ৰাজ্যখনে 13.3% জিডিপি গ্রোথ আমি লবৰ কাৰণে সক্ষম হৈছো আৰু যদি কনস্ট্যান্ট প্রাইজটো আমি ইয়াক কম্পেয়ার কৰো তেতিয়াহলে আমাৰ কনস্ট্যান্ট প্রাইজটো আমি 6.92% আমি ইকনমিক গ্রোথ পাবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছো আৰু এই দুইটা ইন্ডিকেটৰে ভাৰত চৰকাৰৰ যি ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় হাৰ তাতকৈ আমি ওপৰত যাব সক্ষম হৈছো সাধাৰণতে আমাৰ ৰাজ্যখন ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় হাৰতকৈ তলত থাকে কিন্তু আজি আমি যোৱা বছৰ তুলনাত এই বছৰত আমি ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় হাৰৰ বহুত ওপৰত গৈছো এই সময়ছোৱাত এগ্ৰিকালচাৰৰ আমাৰ ইকনমিত 15.80% কন্ট্ৰিবিউশন আহিছে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিত পৰা 33.51% contribution আহিছে service sector has grown by 45.63% আৰু taxes and subsidy 5.6% যেটো গ্রোথ হৈছে সেই গুটেইখিনি আমাৰ যোৱা বছৰৰ তুলনাত গুটেইখিনি ইন্ডিকেটৰে আমাৰ আগতকৈ ভাল হৈছে অসমত আমি প্ৰথম সৰকাৰ গঠন কৰিছিলো পাব্লিক এক্সপেন্ডিচাৰ আছিল 42,000 crore অৰ্থাৎ আমি 42,000 কোটি টকা ৰাজ্যখনৰ বিকাশৰ বাবে এটা বছৰত খৰচ কৰিছিলো ভগৱানৰ অপাৰ ইচ্ছা আছিল আশীৰ্বাদ আছিল আপোনালোকৰ সদিচ্ছা আছিল অলপ আগতে এজিৰ ৰিপৰ্ট আহিছে এজিৰ ৰিপৰ্টত আমি দেখা পাইছো যে আৱাৰ পাব্লিক ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট পাব্লিক যেটো এক্সপেন্ডিচাৰ বুলি কওঁ that has grown up to 73,000 crore অর্থাৎ 42,000 এর জায়গাত 73,000 crore আমি যোৱা বছৰ খৰচ কৰিছো it is a expansion of fiscal space by 30,000 crores almost double বুলি আমি ক'ব পাৰো
All right, that was Assam Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma after presenting the State Economic Survey on the floor of the House earlier today. To discuss the possibilities of the budget tomorrow and throw light on the expectations of the people, I am joined by a very high-profile panel, both in the studios and outside today. I have Dr. M.P. Besbarua, a well-known economist, professor of economics at Guwahati University. I also have with me industry expert and former chairman of FINA, Mr. R.S. Joshi, political analyst, Mr. Swapnanil Barua, Assam BJP spokesman, Mr. Rupam Goswami, commentator, Mr. Shyamkanu Mohanto, and Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, professor at NEHU, joining me from Shillong. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. First of all, I'd go straight to you, Dr. MP Besbarua. You have just heard the finance minister saying that the state GDP at current prices has grown more than 13%. And that the public expenditure has increased from 42,000 earlier to now presently at 73,000 crore, which is an increase of 30,000 crore. And he has also said that the service sector has grown up by 45%, followed by agricultural economy grown at a rate of 15.80% and industry contributing 33%. That means service sector is at the highest at 45%, industry 33%. So what does, can you for my viewers, Dr. MP Besbarua, explain what does the economic survey mean, and from this, what are the indications that you pick up? What kind of a budget is Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma likely to present tomorrow? That of course we can discuss later, but what is the state of the economy according to you based on the economic survey?
The economic survey numbers are really encouraging. But I'd like to just point out, add one thing to what the finance minister just said, is that this Assam's growth rate being higher than the national growth rate is not only this year's phenomena. It has been going on for some time. Actually, after 2000, you know, so there has been a revival in the economies of the entire northeast regions. Actually, after for a very long time we have been lagging behind. So growth rate has been good. So we are higher than the national growth rate, which of course has climbed down a little bit. So this is something which, if we can sustain, will enable us to close the gap in per capita income, because population growth rates are now more or less even all over the country. So we'll be able to catch up with the all India per capita income. But that is some distance to go still. Now, regarding the numbers regarding sectoral compositions, I'm not entirely sure if these are the growth rates or sectoral composition. Of course, service sectors are very, very important these days.
Right.
And but then service sector, you know, it's a kind of catch-all kind of a thing. So which in the service sectors are growing, because that determines the health of the thing. Because in some of the northeast states, we find that service sector growth is mostly driven by the expansion of the government, which is not a very extremely robust kind of a thing.
Right. So Dr. Besbarua, I'm coming back to you to expand on what you have just said. What does it indicate about the economy in Assam? Mr. R.S. Joshi, you are closely linked to the industry. You are a practitioner. My question to you, you know, the service sector, according to the Assam Economic Survey, has grown by 45%. And next, of course, is industry, 33%. Now, what does this mean? A lot of people still complain that, oh, there is lack of industrialization in the state. There is no livelihood option. There is the unemployment rate is so high. But from these two figures which has just come today, which is the latest figures, the service sector has grown by 45% and the industry contribution to the overall state GSDP is 33%, followed by, of course, agriculture at almost 16%.
No,
so
I think before Joshiji takes up, I think we need to understand this slightly differently. These are not you cannot add up, you know, if the economy is growing at a rate of 13%, if you add this up, all these things up, this will be definitely more than 13%. What I understand, how I interpret is that there has been a 13% growth in which services has contributed
45% of this 13.37%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so overall growth is 13%. You were saying that these are the sectoral compositions of this 13%.
Absolutely.
So that is what but what does this indicate? Is there any point of being reassured about the economy in Assam, R.S. Joshi?
It's the figure economic survey really very, very encouraging. Let me take you to the last year's budget. The finance minister presented the 1920 budget with brimming hope and desire for new Assam.
Yeah.
And today, after listening to him, the economic survey, I'm pretty confident things are moving in the right direction. See, budget has to be analyzed by certain economic parameters.
Right.
Like first thing, it has to meet the FRBM requirement. We must not exceed the FRBM targets. That is one thing. Then the fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, and other parameters. I'm very happy to note that we have done very well on all these economic parameters. So credit goes to the person who has been managing the economy of the state.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Swapnanil Barua, you know, what do you make of this? Because we'll discuss about what are the expectations tomorrow, what are the possibilities in the budget tomorrow. But before we go into that, both to also to Mr. Swamkana Mohanto and to Rupam Goswami. Now one trend is that almost 50% of the Assam budget, this has been a trend for quite some time now, Swapnil Borwa, or about 50% of the Assam budget goes in salaries and pensions. Salaries and pensions. These are the two big heads.
And also debt servicing.
Also debt servicing. Because debt servicing basically returning loans. So this is a huge expenditure. 50% of the budget goes in these three heads. Then you have to make do with the remaining 50%. So how do you look at this? What do you have to say?
I think that is the most difficult task for the finance minister of Assam, as to, he begins with a liability of nearly 46 to 50% of the total expenditure going away to committed liabilities. And also, in the revenue side, he has the liability of nearly 2,000 or maybe 6,000 crores going to the police administration, another 2,000 crores going to flood control.
Yeah.
It's very depressing if you initially take up the budget exercise. But still then, we must thank the finance minister that he has not lost hope and he is trying to make best of a good situation.
All right.
And one thing is very important is that, this rising of the agriculture's contribution to the STP is again because of the improvement of the trading climate.
Yeah.
Nowadays you have seen a lot of outflow of agriculture produce which was wasted.
Yeah.
Now we have even exports are happening from Guwahati, which has added to the value of the goods. Agricultural produce, the cold chain is, after a long time, is somehow coming into place.
Okay.
And the movement happening is affecting the economy towards a positive side.
All right. Fine. Now, Mr. Shamkanu Mohanto, you are someone, you are an entrepreneur. You do various things. You are an entrepreneur. You are into tourism. You are into organizing festivals. You are into giving boost to the tourism and other entrepreneurial. You are building an entrepreneurial class. These are the things that you do. My question is, looking at some of these indicators, and of course, looking at the 2019 last year's budget, what do you think is the scenario? Are you a happy man today?
Indicators are something I want this entire panel as well as the government to look at. 3 indicators. What is the maximum contribution to Assam? It looks like service sector. So where it should focus is quite clear. These indicators give me focus where Assam government should focus. Service sector gives maximum contribution, 45%, followed by industry, which is quite good at 33%, and 16% of agriculture. First
is not doing well or rural economy is not changing. That's not quite true. If you go to the field level, actually, I'm not saying just because of this government, but the PMG as well, roads and all that, that has brought in a transformation in the rural areas in the economy of Assam. So Assam, one single indicator if I can give, Assam used to import a lot of fish earlier from Andhra Pradesh and all that, which has virtually come down to zero. It's because the farmers in particularly central and western Assam, I'll not talk about schemes, I'll tell you the farmers, they have actually gone into very diversified agriculture. They're no longer just happy growing the rice. They are growing horticulture, they are going into fisheries, they are going into livestock, and that's the way forward, I believe. So what the government need to look at, how to help the government is that the farmers are doing it. So you see that they get that good price. So we need to develop the value chain so that the market is accessed.
Can I make a point here?
Yes.
At this moment, it is very critical that we reduce the amount of, a normal developed country is indicated by the spread of the population engaged in the different trades. So normally you will find that a developed country, not more than 10% of the people are engaged in agriculture.
Right.
Not more than 20% or 30% at best. China goes to 32, has an engagement in industry, in production. The rest, 70% of 60% has to be engaged in services. That is why this budget exercise, I think, should now start focusing on targeting that kind of income redistribution or
income redistribution
and job redistribution, so that the farm sector really improves.
Now, this question goes to both Mr. R.S. Joshi and Shamkana Mohanto. If we say that 46%, you have the figures with you, Swapnil Barua. Yes. You are also an economist by training. 46% of the Assam budget, if we are talking about a 2019-20 budget.
Yes. It's about 50,000 crores.
Yeah. Total allocation was about 99,000 crores.
The government of Assam's budget is about 1 lakh
1 lakh crores.
50,000 crores.
To be exact, it is, to be precise, the budget was 99,418.91 crore. That is 1 lakh crore, out of which 46%, it is almost about 50,000 crore goes in pension, salaries and in debt services. Now, Mr. R.S. Joshi.
I must point out that this ratio is now less than it was earlier, much higher. Actually.
That's true. But still, we need to, I think, perhaps bring it down further. That is where the catch.
Reduced to 10%.
10%. That is where the catch lies. Now, the question to R.S. Joshi and Shamkana Mohanto, is the salary head going up because there is less of a private sector employment in the state? Could that be the reason, or is it not a correct assessment?
See, they have implemented the 7th pay commission that obligations. That is the primarily one of the reason, and over the period of time, the policy of the government has been, be that the previous government or the present government, to give more government jobs, to create more jobs. So that one may have the difference.
So that is the compulsion. Creating more government jobs because Assam doesn't have too much of private investment as yet. Is that the reason?
That's the reason. And then the pension obligation. See, the life expectancy has gone up like anything. And the two things I must say without any confusion, the fiscal health of the state and physical health of the state has improved. There is no doubt about it. On this,
fiscal health of the state has improved. Physical health has also improved. Now, Shamkana Mohanto, the same question goes to you. Is the government expenditure on salaries, pensions and other things are more, particularly let's take the salary head, is it on the rise, or is it more compared to maybe other places? Is it because there is not much of private sector job avenues?
Exactly. In Assam, the best paying jobs are in government. That is a reality. Because the private sector salary is off late, the economy on a downturn, the situation is not great. If you look at a lot of companies has gone for some, they're reducing the job loads. So this is happening for last 2 years. This is not a great sign. If you ask me industrially, in terms of employment creation in Assam has gone down. This is a critical issue. This is a critical issue.
All over the country.
All over the country, but Assam, the heat is more. Assam, heat is more for various reasons, the lack of resources, lack of market, there are many issues. As of now, this is my biggest concern. Biggest concern is that job employability. This will be a very critical issue in the election time also. So this budget has to address this issue, because a lot of sops will come in this budget. You know what sops are? 1 rupee cycle, 0 cycle, that rice thing or benefit for the tea tribe. This is done. This is political election here, they will do it. But my request is to the finance minister, the bigger issue is that
Job
As of
avenues
now,
is the
Assam
challenge.
government performance is not great in this sector. Job creation last 4 years, the performance is not great.
Challenge for
And this year we should do something so that we create some jobs.
Key challenge for the government. I'll go for a break, but before that, Prasenjit, this was...
Just a point I'd like to make here before. This pension problem will continue till 2040.
Yes.
You know, the revised pension came into 2003, assuming that a government servant works for about 36 years. So 2003 plus 36 is about 2040 only we'll have some relief on the pension expenditure head.
So we have to gear up on the private sector front. Industrialization perhaps holds the key. Prasenjit Biswas, huge, half of the budget goes on salary, debt servicing and low pensions. Is it a worry?
Yeah. No. Apart from that, the rural sector is really languishing because net state value-added contribution from the rural sector is actually declining at the rate of 2 to 3%. That's one part.
You can make your point.
Therefore, the public expenditure is not spreading across the rural sector. And therefore, what is happening, whatever expenditures are accumulated on the state government in terms of pension and other expenses, these are not supported by collection of revenue and also generation of income and employment.
Okay, Professor MP Besborough has a question.
Mismatch in various sectors. That has to be ready.
Yes, Mr. Besborough.
Yeah, no, I mean, rural economy, you're claiming that the investments are not, it's declining. Now, how do you calculate that? I think that's something, it's slightly difficult to calculate. And value addition, you have said value addition has gone down there. Actually, you have to count not only agriculture, just let me finish. You have to also see that the rural economy has really now diversified into non-farm activities also.
I understand. But look at it from 16... Yeah.
No, I think there's another point here is that how much was budgeted and how much has been
decline
spent.
of the net state value-added contribution by the rural sector. The data is available.
But that data is
now.
not given actually. It's given for agriculture.
Can I clarify a point here, please?
Yeah.
You know, the budget estimate had 80,000 crores as revenue expenditure, and we have already spent 73,000. So, which is a good indicator. I think the problem is that this 80,000 crores, which we have thought about in spending in revenue expenditure, is not somewhere near the requirement. So, we really have to increase our resources, and with the income...
Need to increase the resources. I'll have to go for a short break. Viewers, don't go away. I'll be right back. When I come back, I will talk about what could be the priorities of the Assam Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma in the budget tomorrow, whether it is the conventional sectors like education, healthcare, or whether it is going to be in the infrastructure sector, besides, of course, an eye on the Aam Aadmi in view of the 2020 elections. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Rupam Goswami, I know you cannot speak much, and I'm sure today you have had a discussion with some of the key players behind the budget making. Don't smile. Now you know quite a few things. Tell us what could be the possibility on the budget tomorrow. What is the briefing that you have got? And you can share a little bit to our viewers.
No, actually, exact what will be the budget, we don't know. But we have given some suggestion to the Honorable Finance Minister from the party side. We really sit all the most of the key people of the party.
Yeah, what are some of the suggestions?
Like suggestions is like that.
2 to 3 suggestions.
We have to strengthen the purchasing power of the BPL people. That is the prime suggestion, because to have a good economy, you have to have a strong
just
purchasing
interruption.
power.
The breaking news here at this point, the breaking news is that the Assam BJP has advised the state government, the state finance minister, to increase the purchasing power of people below the poverty line. This is the breaking story at this point in time. We have to wait and watch. What are some of the measures which Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma is going to announce tomorrow? Yes, continue, Rupam.
Okay. So, basic the infrastructure. We are really thankful to him that he has done a lot for the state. Even, which we have never thought about it, the Assam government is now constructing a bridge over the Brahmaputra.
Right.
This is not a joke. So, with their own money. So, that is a very important. So, he really has taken, he has like 14,000 kilometer roads he has built.
2,200 crore allocation for the bridge.
Yes, exactly. That 350,000 houses they have built, and with lots of other infrastructure. If you now go to any villages, you won't find a single road which is not at condition, not at par.
Absolutely.
All roads, I think, after this 20 years, I think there will no road will be left.
I want my assessment of the budget. If I know Himanta Biswa Sharma, there'll be something big announcement tomorrow. My idea is that that announcement will be linking to the below BPL people, a large initiative which will cover a large section of people. That is number one. Number one, I'm expecting. Second, he will create some legacy as a finance minister. Last time his legacy was a scheme called CIDF, that Infrastructure Development Fund for the cities. City Infrastructure Development Fund, 100 crore was created, and they are trying to turn it around to develop. So my assessment is that he will make some legacy for future finance minister to follow, and they will make some milestone, some initiatives, which will be large number, in terms of large number, number one. Number two, a huge political budget. Huge political budget, there will be a lot of soaps for everybody.
Huge political budget?
Let me finish.
Political budget, I don't think
he will do. He will do election coming. No, because let me understand my assessment. Because politically, the situation is there are political grievances against BJP. At this moment of time, he will cater to a particular segment of people who are aggrieved. That is the political
but Swapnil Baruah, in a budget of 1 lakh crore, in a budget of 1 lakh crore, what will be the SOPs? 2,000 crore? What do you think?
3,000 crore.
What percentage of it?
There are, which I am expecting. This is why I got to learn. But my only concern, my wish list, within this political compulsion, there are political compulsion. We have to agree. If I am finance minister, basically next year election, I will look at the political compulsion first. But the bigger issue is that the growth of Assam economy must continue. What do you want? Industrial growth. What do you want? Agriculture growth. Most importantly, a stimulus for infrastructure.
Can I make a point here?
The big vision.
I think the greatest thing which is happening in Assam is that one long-standing problem of the people of Assam is the health sector.
Right.
That is going to be finally addressed. All the medical colleges coming up, we shall have this great supply, short supply of doctors addressed, and I think that is the first serious long-term issue which is going to be solved.
Let me take this to Dr. M.P. Basbura.
This is the point.
And that is why I feel that health for all, that is going to be the focus of this next budget, and you shall see that more and more people will be getting more and more things.
It's a matter of 24 hours. We'll wait and watch. Yes.
Yes. This is the issue which we were discussing somewhere before. That are we spending too much on salaries and pensions and all? Pensions, of course, will go away gradually, like he says, because now government is not paying pension anymore for the younger people. So that will phase out in a particular... but you know what, if you have... I think that government is not recklessly creating jobs like in the 1990s for pacifying those extremists and all those kinds of things. That has not happened. And second thing is that the college, if you cannot neglect education, health. If we have to develop, demographic development has to be done. So we have to have, salaries paid for these sectors. So some of the posts are now being filled in colleges and all that. All right, schools and all that. So this has to be carried out. So salary budget may go out, but if it contributes to development, we have to do it because that's going to create the opportunity. Create a skill for. Just let me finish half a second. That is going to create the skill for people to move to other sectors. They can even migrate.
Diversify into other sectors.
Just one more thing.
Let you finish.
Just 15 seconds. We now know that a lot of people from this, even not fully qualified, say class 10, class 12 people, also migrate. It has become possible because, some kind of education they have got.
Yes.
So this education, healthcare, we really need to, if we are spending more money
I'd like to pick up from where Madhurya finished off, is that, this is one, again, as I said, that the government is going in a positive direction of trying to also attend to the educational sector as a priority, long-term solution. And I see that all kinds of facilities will be provided free to the students. and the whole emphasis of the education would now turn to the student, then from the professors.
Okay.
Till quite some time, at least in the Congress days, I saw that the emphasis was on pacifying the teachers, attending to the problems of the teachers, not much as the
One more
care for
very
the...
important thing you have to see that we saw a decade when the school teachers were recruited in a very arbitrary kind of manner.
I mean, yes.
Now this has become very
that's been
systematic.
streamlined and systematic.
Now,
But let
as the
me
minister said,
Yeah.
that we are going on consolidation. I see health and education as the consolidation, and that 30% of the budget I expect next year to be spent in these
So
two
tomorrow's
sectors.
budget, Swapnil Barua's prediction is that 30% will go towards the health and education sector. Now, R.S. Joshi, what about industrialization? When are we going to hear that, yes, we are, when will a person like Kanu say, or you say, that yes, we are happy at the industrialization level in Assam, we are happy at the infrastructure, we are happy at the situation on the ground. And now it is fit for people to come and invest here. When are we going to see on what are the things that needs to be done to achieve that level?
See, the budget is no more a statement of revenue, expenditure and income. It must give some positive signals. We had a advantage Assam. We must see the amount committed for the investment in the state of Assam.
Right.
That should come to the state of Assam. There are certain regions we need to address some basics. But let me tell you about the functioning of state's economy. Our budget used to be, I have been analyzing it for decades now. The Assam budget. It used to be a budget like a municipal corporation of a big state, advanced state.
Right.
So see, touching not only in the matter of expenditure, in the matter of revenue collection, touching this figure about 1 lakh crore or so is not a joke. They have done pretty well on this. Yes, other things have gone. The committed expenditure, non-development
on the whole, things are on the right track.
on the right. But now the time has just come. We must consolidate. We must set the ball rolling for sustainability in the economy.
And keep consolidating on the sectors that are
And
doing
another,
well.
we need to be in a very, very fast mode. You mentioned about this Brahmaputra bridge. The announcement made was in last year's budget. Only few days back, they have laid the foundation stone of the budget.
Yeah.
So this kind of, almost 1 year has gone. So we must be in fast mode.
Tendering process.
Fast track, whatever.
Yes, Sam Kanu.
We must
See,
do.
my concern is that local entrepreneurship has not grown. That we have not been able to do it. In terms of this budget should provide a roadmap, give some incentive, give a structure where entrepreneurship grows. That is possible. I want to urge Himanta Biswa. This is where this government will be definitely judged how any kind of work, our people need to be involved, train and develop. And entrepreneurship is a way forward.
Entrepreneurial class needs to be hand-holded and built
this
up.
budget should some defined support mechanism in this direction. We are looking for it.
Shamkanu, I just would like to, I have written elsewhere, there is a lot of civil society has to do. So long as, in the Northeast particularly, these political enterprises are very profitable, they are risk-free, so you'll not become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur involves taking risk. So that climate has to change. That government can do something, but I think the civil society has a bigger
So
role.
now people are coming forward. See, if a lot of young entrepreneurs are coming, I meet a lot of people all the time. So things are happening, but need some hand-holding. This place
Needs some hand-holding. Prasenjit Biswas, I'm coming to you, Rupam Goswami, for your... yes, Prasenjit Biswas.
Yeah, I would like to say that the poverty reduction programs have not been yet very, very dynamically successful. There is actually a fall at the SDG goal. Assam has fallen -5% in the estimate of Niti Aayog. And this is something very alarming. And this shows that the rural income is not growing. There is no expansion of livelihood in the rural sector. Now, you have also shown that there is not much of a progress in the industrial sector. Therefore, the only way is to induce more public investment.
But
and one has to come out of the hype mentality.
Yeah, but in the overall 14% growth that Assam has registered, 33% comes from the industrial sector, by the way. Prasenjit.
No, that is in terms of the number. But numbers really do not matter, and numbers hide a lot of things. One of the things that number is hiding is that the capital expenditure in terms of per capita in industry is actually not rising. So we have to break down this data to the appropriate concrete problem, which is not happening in our economic
Okay,
survey.
a lot of
So
people,
economic survey
people will
is
ask
all
you,
about
what is the
creating
basis?
hype,
What is
but
the
it is not
basis of your
making a kind of
analysis?
a
What is
breakdown
the...
of the
No,
data.
no. Prasenjit Biswas, on what basis are you making your conclusions? That is the question you have to answer.
I'm making this, I'm saying that per capita capital investment, is it rising or falling? If it is not rising at a steady rate, and if we see that the income of the government is also falling,
Okay.
and there is a certain
I'm running short of time. I'll have to cut you short there.
And resources from other areas.
Okay.
That is an indicator that the capital expenditure is falling.
All right.
And these are critical areas that need to be
come back to you. Now, Rupam Goswami, you started by saying that one of the suggestions that the state BJP has given to the government is that you have to increase the purchasing power of the people below the poverty line, BPL. What are two other important suggestions that you had given to the government?
No, there are lots of other.
Yeah, can you highlight?
No, I
some of them?
cannot say all
Suggestions.
The
I'm not asking.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is there in the budget.
I know.
You can highlight the suggestions.
No, I have already suggested that because that is the basic point, you know. So there will be lots of other schemes as well as already like in the last budget, he has started with Ostomala Mukutar Mala. 18 programs he has given. Basically, we have also studied the last budget, what was happened. And out of these 18, all the schemes were running very well, except one or two we could not materialize in time. But this is also very important from for the perspective of Assam, that this finance minister is working very hard to keep rolling the economy of Assam. And now that at the same time, as MP Wasbir has said, that civil society has also a responsibility. We have to create an atmosphere so that the investors come to here. If you keep on the road for no reasons, then definitely investors from outside people will not invest.
So civil
here.
society...
Wasbir, can I make a point here, please? I think,
Yeah,
we were talking about...
You make your concluding remarks very quickly.
The predictions that I also feel is that besides health and the education sector, the other sector which will be is that we'll find a lot of subsidies being given to farmers and buying of their produce,
Yes,
and also the small tea gardens, not only 5,000 rupees, but the procurement, public procurement of the production is going to happen. And also, these small tea gardens will definitely get a lot of booster.
So that is Swapnil Barua's prediction. He has been with the government for almost 35 to 40 years, so he knows how the government works. So let's wait and watch in the next 24 hours whether his predictions come true. Now, MP Barua, what is your prediction? Will it be a political budget ahead of the 2021 elections, or do you think it will be focused on boosting the economy only?
No, I think it will definitely have a balance of both the things, but I think it will tilt towards a little political. And I am keenly interested on this BJP suggestion that money has to be transferred to the poorer section of... Now, this is going to be a really difficult job because you have to identify who really are the poor. We know some of the people, how the government is going to reach that. Some of them may have bank accounts, some may not have actually. Then this money, how they are going to reach that, that's going to be a big challenge if the budget is going to take up this.
All right. R.S. Joshi, your final comments.
See, finance minister must reward the growth. Like in the service sector, like in the industry, they have done pretty well. So they must be rewarded. I would also like to see some announcement to revisit the state industrial policy.
Yes.
So that should make a sense how to go forward. Another area of reform is the PSUs of the state. They have not been doing well. The time has come, we must take some big step like PPP or the privatization of the PSU so that the cornerstone of government's thinking of job creation can be partially addressed. So these are the areas. And see, one thing I would like to make it a point, it's not with Mr. Prasenjit, there are some basics he may be missing. There is a quantum jump in the outlays. And when the revised estimates are there in place, naturally there is a decline. That must be the reason for declining because see what used to be from 65,000 crore, the earlier expenditure, we have gone to 1 lakh crore rupees, like that. So there is a quantum jump.
All right.
So that could be the reason. I think it is going to be a good budget.
It will be going to be a good budget. I will give you the concluding remarks to Shyamkanta Mohanta, but before that, Prasenjit Shah, very quickly, your final comments. Last word, very quickly, 20 seconds.
Yes, GDP growth has to be calculated in terms of factor cost, which is not happening. It is calculated on the current price level, which is a mistake that should not be done. Secondly, the growth rate of income is somewhat less than the growth rate of the state as projected in this budget. Therefore, there is a discrepancy in figures that needs to be corrected, and then a proper policy has to be worked out.
I would like to point
for
out
all-round
this
economic
GDP
growth.
deflators come 3 months after the current prices are calculated. So those are, I mean, you can look at the last year's thing, current price, constant prices figures. So this is 13%, everybody knows. Minus, you have to minus the inflation rate, which will be 5-6%.
Okay.
No, the finance minister has claimed 6 or 7% growth in real terms.
In real terms, yeah.
So that I saw
6.93.
6.93%.
Yeah,
That's
real growth.
fairly reasonable.
That
if
is
it
the
13%,
real growth.
And last year also it was similar.
And we only hope that the SOPs are limited to 5,000 crores, not exceeding
SOPs not exceeding 5,000 crores. Yes, last word to you, Sam
It
Kandamonto.
will be an exciting budget with a lot of announcement, number one, and there will be a massive project. That project will be, I take Rupamda's word, towards economic upliftment of people. There will be a lot of incentive for Khilonjias. I feel they will be addressing your political concerns of many constituents of BJP. There will be a massive announcement. But my concern is, and it will be a good budget. I'm quite confident it will be a good budget. My only concern is that the focus should be job creation, both rural as well as our overall industrial job creation. Focus should be on entrepreneurship, and most importantly, there must be enough stimuli for infrastructure to grow across the section, urban as well as physical infrastructure.
All right. It's a very,
Wasbir,
yes.
Just I'd like to say one thing. As the Samkanu said, the entrepreneur is not growing. Actually, in Assam, entrepreneurs are really growing now. That is why now fees is not coming from Andhra. The fees.
So even if all I would say, I'm running short of time. All I would say that it may be growing, but there is always need to grow more, and there is a potential to grow more. On that note, I think this is going to be a very, very critical budget for Mr. Sabananda Sonowal and Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma and the BJP-led government in Assam, because this is going to be the only full budget ahead of the 2021 elections, because the budget that Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma will be presenting in February 2021 will be most likely an interim budget. And as some of our panelists, including Dr. M.P. Besborough, has said, it will be a mix of, there will be a political focus as well as the focus will be on the growth trajectory to make the state, keep the state in the growth trajectory. I think we'll have to wait for less than 24 hours to know what Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has in that black box or the brown file. We really don't know as of now. And Rupam knows, but he's not going to tell me or tell you at this point in time. Viewers, thank you very much for watching the program, and the panelists for participating in the show. Good night and goodbye.
Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.